What's up guys, it's Intellitech Studios here, and today I'm going to be doing a review on my Bissell PowerForce 3522-R 2002 model. Now I previously did a review on this one, which is my 3522-5 model, and I know some of you complained about the base being the wrong color, which is why I swapped the bases on these two, so now the blue base that was on this unit is now on this unit. So this is the unit that I'm going to be selling. As soon as I'm done with this video, I'm actually going to properly clean it down all the way, sanitize it, get every single little bit out of it, put a new bag in it, clean out the brush roll again, and then throw it up on my local Facebook group to see who wants it. But this is the one that I'm keeping. This is my 2005 3522-5 model, which now is going to be the proper color and everything. The sticker is a little bit off, but at least it has a sticker. So the only real difference is that the sticker that this 3522-5 model is supposed to come with, and I know because I remember when it did have a sticker on it, this was its handle, and I took the sticker off because I was an idiot. And the sticker that I had on here initially was the one that was black and red, and it said powerful lightweight on top. It was like reddish, and it advertised the bag change indicator, but besides that, everything else was the same. And on this unit, I currently have the CleanView's HEPA filter in it, and in this one, I have the Febreze HEPA filter that used to be in this unit, now in this unit, and that's how I'm going to sell it, because this filter is literally, like, it's not new, but, like, at the same time, it's not really dirty. Like, there's a little bit, but it's still okay. So I'm going to sell it with the Febreze filter in there. That'll be part of the upgrade, is that it has a HEPA filter in it now, so the filtration is slightly less terrible. Although these things do definitely filter a lot better than the bagless models, but that's not really saying much. So this is the newest unit. This is the one that I reviewed previously, and I never was able to mention the story behind this unit because for some reason this review I filmed in 4K, so it cut me off at 5 minutes. And you also remember the handle falling at the end of that video, which is still prevalent on this one. I just happen to have it locked right now, because if you manually push the release lever in place, then it will actually lock. Whereas this one is an actually functional handle lock. So this one actually snaps in place, whereas this one, once you recline it, you have to manually push it back in with your foot. And again, this one, 2005 3522-5, and this one, 3522-R, which I believe that the R means remanufactured. So I believe this is supposed to be a 3522 model, but I guess they sent it in to Bissell at some point. I don't know. Or maybe they got it for cheaper because they found a refurbished deal like a couple years later. I don't know. I don't know the origin of this thing because the person on eBay who was selling it said, well, I know nothing about vacuums. I don't know anything. All I know is that I just want to get rid of it. So yeah, so that's basically it. I will tell the story about how I got this PowerForce, since it's at least somewhat relevant. Basically, this one I got for $22 at a thrift store about a decade ago. The only thing wrong with it was, because the handle lock wasn't even broken at that point, that broke later on throughout me using it, is that, and it was crazy, because it had all the attachments, and it was still in really good shape. But the problem with it was that it was clogged. Majorly clogged. Like, the bottom hose was clogged, and it was clogged all the way up through this bend right here. And there was also a bit of a clog around this section where it goes into the bag, although that was the easiest to clear because I just pounded it on the floor a couple times and that cleared it out. But the rest of it I had to do, like, screwdriver, coat hanger, broom handle, that kind of thing. It was a lot easier to get it out of the lower hose, because that I basically just had to jab it with a screwdriver. But then this part I kind of had to just pound it a couple times, like I said, coat hanger, but trying to not push it too far so I don't puncture the hose. And that was a crazy ordeal. But once I finally got that figured out, and I got that cleared out and everything, I just turned it on, you all of a sudden hear the loud So it was obviously it then, you know, unclearing and then pulling everything into the bag. And then it was good to go after that. And the filters were still clean and everything. The brush roll was decent. So it's all, everything minus the belt, because I did replace the belt at some point, is original. Actually, no, not that. Because the pre-motor filter I kept, but the post-motor filter I got rid of a while ago. I don't know if I put it in another machine and sold it, but either way, whenever I transported it to this house, it already had a HEPA filter in it. In fact, it had that Febreze one in it, I believe, because I don't think I've changed the HEPA filter since then. So that's basically that. So that's basically the story behind how I got this, and it's worked beautifully ever since. And this one, of course, I just got, and this is the one that I'm currently reviewing. So this machine works just as well as the other one. Obviously, no bag change indicator. And, of course, the hose has the weird swivelly thing, so you don't have the easy access to clear clogs on this one. But even then, it's just 2 screws and you pull it out. The only thing I don't like is that it always goes in that direction, which makes the handle really kind of a pain to get to carry it, which really sucks. Whereas this one, since it's actually molded at this angle, you can easily reach the handle and pick it up no problem. So that is one thing that they improved with this variant, because this is the best PowerForce they ever made. And that's not really an opinion, that's just kind of, you know, it has the most features, it's generally the most sought after among the collecting community. Because this model, it's cool because of its origin, because this is essentially what superseded the PowerGlide. Because in 2002, this body design originated with the Bissell PowerGlide. And that was also alongside the PowerGlide Plus and the PowerGlide Ultra. And then around the time this one came out, the PowerGlides had been off the market for a couple years, so they came out with the PowerGlide Platinum. And there were a couple different names for some of those units that were thrown in as well, but those are the main units. So the PowerGlide Platinum is actually the best version of this design, and I'm actually going to drop a link in the description to FantomLightnings video on the PowerGlide Platinum, because it is a superb machine, and I would like to get my hands on it at some point, since in my opinion the PowerGlide Platinum is probably the best Bissell vacuum, at least in that price range that they have ever made. Because it has this design, so it has the better filtration than the bagless, but it still had the power track base, the wine color, the indicator, a HEPA filter, clear deluxe stretch hose, and not the crappy stretch hose that's on the newer PowerForces, like the last versions with this design, like a true deluxe stretch hose with the wider design so it doesn't get clogged. It has the turbo brush. Now, and I'm sure, because I have switched the CleanView power tracks base onto this to try it out, and it worked beautifully. So, and obviously I can switch the HEPA filter, and I could switch the hose and the handle with the one from the PowerGlide, and I'm sure it would fit just fine. So I could, in theory, if I could find the parts, very easily convert this into essentially a PowerGlide Platinum. But, you know, it would be nice to have my hands on the real machine so I can keep this in its original state and have the PowerGlide as well. So, but basically, that's kind of why this PowerForce, why this entire series is so interesting, because the PowerGlide originated in 2002, and it was very similar to the PowerForce, the original PowerGlide, except it had 7 height adjustments. It had the filter design of the CleanView, where it just has the one clip, which works a lot worse. Obviously the PowerGlide logo, so that's different than the PowerForce logo. This design was a little bit more curved, the bag door, so it was a bit more curved, which this design's actually a little bit nicer. And also the tools were a little bit, in my opinion, worse on the PowerGlide. The PowerGlide had this design with the swivelly hose, which again made the carrying handle harder to get to. And the PowerGlide also, because this base is obviously from this, so it's more, so the PowerGlide didn't have anything clear on it. And the PowerGlide also had the older style toolkit. So the combination dusting brush and upholstery tool was more like a V shape, and it was a little bit different than this one, which again is weird considering that they came out the same year. But the PowerForce literally came out the same year as the PowerGlide. It was like $20–$30 cheaper, and it was better in many different ways. The only real advantages that the PowerGlide had were the post-motor filter was slightly better, the headlight was brighter at the time. Actually, no, because this one has the wide beam headlight, this one does not. So that was the same. So the only difference, as far as actual improvements, minus like color and subjective things, was it had a slightly better post-motor filter, which you could very easily exchange for a HEPA filter, and then it had 2 more height adjustments. And that's with the original PowerGlide. And there was the PowerGlide Plus, which was a little bit more expensive, and I believe didn't really add much to the design. And there was the PowerGlide Ultra, which that one added a better post-motor filter, a better stretch hose that was almost identical to the Clean View, and a better post-motor filter, that kind of thing. And the PowerGlide Ultra, finally, it was either the Plus or the Ultra, I don't remember which one, finally switched it to this design where it has this style, combo tool and crevice tool and all that. So it was essentially, the PowerGlide Ultra was pretty much the closest that you would get to a bagged Clean View, because at the time the PowerForce bagless was not out yet, so the closest to a bagged Clean View was either a PowerGlide or a PowerForce. So it's kind of funny to see how the PowerGlide came out and the PowerForce came out the same year, only it was like a Walmart special, and it was much cheaper at Walmart. So some people could maybe make the argument that maybe the PowerForce at the time was built less durably than the PowerGlide, but any durability complaints that people had about the PowerForce, based on reviews that I saw, were identical to the PowerGlide. So I don't really see much improvement on that front. So you can see why the PowerGlides were discontinued so shortly after their lifespan, and why any PowerGlide, at least that type PowerGlide, because I know they have new PowerGlides now, but they are not like this design at all. Because Bissell is one of those companies that likes to recycle names all over the place. Same thing with the Clean View, where they just have 400 new machines with the Clean View name that are nowhere near anywhere like the original Clean Views were. So, as far as the original design, they were very niche, they weren't on the market for that long, and that's where these things kind of came in, and these easily were more popular and more well-known, and sold many, many, many more, and obviously stayed on the market much, much, much longer. Although, again, the PowerGlide Platinum is easily a superior machine to these, as it was also more expensive, and you could even make kind of a debate between this and the PowerGlide Ultra. So, yeah, the PowerGlide Platinum is one that I want to get, and again, I'll drop a video on that in the description. I haven't seen a single video on YouTube about any other model of this design PowerGlide, but if I find one, or if you guys find one, let me know, and I'll put that in the description as well so you guys can see the PowerGlide. But the PowerForce is what we're basically talking about today, and that's basically where the design originated, and lasted all the way up until 2016 when they made the final version of the PowerForce, which was much cheaper, had the crappy stretch hose, the terrible Febreze bags, the 8-amp motor, because at one point they swapped to 10 amps, and then towards the end of the lifespan, once the PowerForce bagless Helix came in, they switched to an 8-amp motor, which is the same motor they use in the newer versions. So, yeah, these models are definitely a lot better. And, yeah, I'm about to sneeze. Anyways, so, let's go ahead and run this model, PowerForce, and see how it performs. Alright, it's all plugged in, and again, that hose. So, it used to have a whining noise to it, but just in the few times that I've used it, it seemed to, now it sounds identical to my PowerForce, so yeah, this is the last time you'll probably see it running before I sell it. I mean, unless I, for some reason, can't sell it. But, yeah, so let's give this thing a good run. Well, yeah, so that's basically it. I mean, it sounds just fine. It actually sounds better than my clean view, despite the clean view being a year earlier, which aids to my comments about these bag models being much more durable, having better filtration, and therefore having healthier motors. So, if you're trying to, if you have, whether it's an older style or a newer style, get one of the bag models. But anyway, guys, this is my review of the 3522-R model PowerForce. Review on the Clean View Power Track will be up next. Let me know what you guys thought about this video, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.